Welcome to the Range Podcast. I'm Ricky Brule, and with me is Jake Hollywood Iverson. Join us at the Archery Range, where we'll tell stories from the hunt, discuss technical bow shooting tactics and gear, and pick the brains of some of the most successful people to ever shoot a bow. Whether you're about to shoot that X for the win or send an arrow at a trophy buck, this podcast is for you. The Range Podcast is brought to you by Vapor Trail Archery, makers of the best bowstrings money can buy, originators of limb-driven arrow rest technology, and innovators of Stokerized stabilizer systems. What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Ricky Brule. This is the Range Podcast. Man, I am fired up right now. Like, there is so much crazy stuff going on in the world right now, and we could talk for hours about it. I'm sure your news feeds are just filled with all of it right now at this moment, so I won't get too deep into anything political. After all, this is an archery podcast, so I do want to try to stay on point and on the topic of archery and other things related. But yeah, it's crazy. I don't even know what to say. For those of you watching on YouTube, you can see I'm sitting here with like 4 layers on. I've got a stocking cap on. It is cold here in Minnesota right now, bro. Like, I never knew about this, but did you know that trees can explode? Seriously, like, there's warnings saying that the sap expands, boom, tree explodes, falls down. I don't really know all the specific details, but of course in my head I'm imagining this grandiose event where a tree just explodes into a million pieces, and if you're standing nearby, you run the risk of getting, a sliver in your eye or something. Could be crazy. Or, tree branches falling on your house. My daughter last night was nervous about that. Luckily that did not happen, although my house is creaking and banging and making all kinds of crazy noises. But yeah, so it's super cold. I think right now it's like negative 20 degrees, and that is not with the wind chill. So yeah, that's wild. And first thing I really want to get into, okay, let me back up just a little bit. A lot of the episodes that have been coming out recently have been just me, and I know that I'm not like the most exciting person in the world, so I promise we're going to get some guests on here. I've got a list of individuals that I'd like to talk to this year. I just need to start getting messages out to them and start getting things on the books and scheduled. So I promise you're not going to have to put up with just me all this time. Hollywood at some point is probably going to come back too. We're super busy after ATA and all kinds of things going on. So I don't want to pull him away from what he's got going on there. And so you're stuck with me solo, at least for a little bit. But if you are tuning in, thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys all following along. Hey, do me a favor, okay? If you're listening to this episode right now, or if you're watching it on YouTube, comment something down below just so I can get an idea of who's listening, who's paying attention, and who's engaging. You can be anything you want. I don't care. You can give me a hard time, call me a name, just say hi, something. Just comment so that I know who is paying attention and who is listening. I would really appreciate that. Moving on. Big thing right now that I want to talk about. Those of you who know me know that I do a ton of hunting on public land. I'm a life member of the Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, and I am also a frequent visitor to the Boundary Waters Canoe area wilderness in Minnesota. And right now, once again, it is under fire. And let me see. I'm just going to kind of read this because I don't want to get the details mixed up. But the House just removed Boundary Waters protections against public opinion, which is really frustrating to me. I don't really understand. We are supposed to have a voice in this nation, and right now, in a lot of different areas, we do not. And the reason I've chosen to discuss this, as it's not, I wouldn't consider it to be the most important issue, but it is related to archery. We are hunters, we are outdoorsmen, and even though this is Minnesota-based, despite maybe a lot of you not living here, this is still very important. If you've never visited the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness, I highly suggest that you do. It's an amazing place. It's like no other. And so make sure that if you have not been there, and especially with what's going on right now, with it being under fire, I highly suggest getting up there before something happens where it may not be available to us anymore. However, part of what I want to talk about is I want to get into the fight to ensure that none of that happens, right? Like, I feel like there's several organizations supporting the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness. You got Save the Boundary Waters, you've got Sportsmen for the Boundary Waters, you got Backcountry Hunters and Anglers. And all of these organizations have a good reason for supporting these areas. There's a lot of jobs up there. There's a lot of recreation that goes on there. And if there was to be any mining outside of the Boundary Waters in the watershed area, it could very well damage the watershed and this precious resource that we have. And so what I want to do is I just want to read a little bit here. It's a direct quote from Ryan Callahan. A lot of you, he's now the president of Backcountry Hunters and Anglers. You may more commonly know him as a friend and partner of the Meat Eater crew. But he says, quote, "The House just used the Congressional Review Act to rescind a 20-year mineral withdrawal protecting 225,000 acres in the Rainy River watershed upstream of the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness, one of the most visited wilderness areas in America. Today's vote directly opposes more than 670,000 public comments submitted directly to DOI, plus thousands of calls and emails to representatives made by the people who use, appreciate, and depend on public lands and waters. If our elected officials aren't listening to Americans, then who are they listening to?" And this is the deal, folks. Okay, so this proposed mine is with an organization called Twin Metals. This is a Chilean company. And don't quote me on this, but from what I understand is that these resources are going to be mined. They're then going to be shipped and sold to foreign entities. Now, I've read about very specific countries that they're going to go to. I'm not going to mention them here because I don't know how much truth there is to any of that. But the point is that we're going to be mining these resources and then we're going to be exporting them to other countries. Now, I don't know how you feel about that, but I don't feel good about that. I think I understand the importance of utilizing our own resources and not being reliant upon foreign resources and other countries. I understand that concept, but I think that we need to do this all responsibly. I do not believe there has ever been any sort of mine that has not, or that has been able to 100% contain the toxins from leaching into the water system in that area. And so this is bad because the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness is a giant chain of lakes, rivers, and it is a major source of fresh water, the freshest water you can arguably find in the world. And it's under fire right now because of a money grab. And so it's very important that we support this, not only for what I just spoke about, but also just for the state of public land access. Again, this is one of those deals where if it gets put through, what else is going to happen across the country? And I feel like Theodore Roosevelt would be rolling in his grave. So please, please, please contact your local representatives. This thing is going to the Senate. We need to put a stop to it in the Senate. We need to make sure that we keep this protection on the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness, or else who knows how much further it could go. So that's just the one quick thing I wanted to get out. I'm going to jump off my soapbox on that real quick here. And I just want to talk a little bit more specific archery related stuff, and then I'll get you guys rolling and get you out of here. Archery Talk, dude, check this out. So we're back. We're back on Archery Talk. We've got a sponsorship again. Rory, the CEO, holds the main account. Any of you who go on Archery Talk, you've probably seen some of his posts on there. Also, me and Hollywood, we have accounts that are attached to that sponsorship, so we're able to get in there and I've been able to leave comments and stuff, but I'm going to be a lot more active on there, responding to people's comments, questions, all that kind of stuff. And so I'm kind of excited about that, actually. Historically, I've had some struggles with Archery Talk. There's a lot of folks on there that, claim to be experts that maybe aren't so, but the point is that I'm coming across a ton of people that I used to communicate with back in the day. It's actually been really fun, and I'm really excited to get back on there. I'm really excited to dive in and just start communicating with some of you guys. And now we're able to post content in regards to the Range podcast, and we're able to promote some of our products on there as well. So folks, you can get updated on the latest and greatest coming from Vapor Trail. So make sure that you head over there, check it out. You'll be seeing some more content coming from us. Archery Talk, super excited about that. Tournaments, currently, as I'm recording this right now, by the time it airs, the Lancaster Classic will be completed and finished, but that is the tournament that's going on right now. That's kind of a big deal. It's a buzz. We've got it, playing live in our pro shop right now, so we can kind of be up to date and see what's going on. And then, there's a few upcoming, as far as national stuff goes. You've got the NFAA Indoor National Championships, March 6th through the 8th. I was talking to Hollywood about this the other day, and yeah, it looks like, so I think that was last year, maybe the last couple of years, that was traditionally the weekend that the Vegas shoot was, which has been pushed back from the previous. I think it used to be in February or maybe even January, but now it's pushed back to the end of March. So the Vegas shoot will be March 26th through the 29th. And I don't know if that we'll be attending that one. I'm not exactly sure what's going to go on there. We haven't talked too much about that, but the Vegas shoot coming up then. All right, so some of the things coming up here in the spring that Vapor Trail is going to be involved in, that we're going to be attending. We've got the Show Me Whitetails Outdoor Expo. That is in Missouri. And that is one that we're going to be attending. We're going to have a booth there. That is March 15th through the 16th. We're pretty excited about that one. That's going to be something new for us. There's going to be, Boone and Crockett Club's going to be there scoring deer. I guess it's an event that's grown quite a bit over the last few years. So we're pretty excited about that. We're going to be checking that one out. Also, Bowfest in Minnesota, right here in our backyard. That's July 23rd through the 26th. It sounds like, now it's not official, but it sounds like we are going to have a booth there, and we will be attending. Hopefully I can make it. All kind of depends on how my schedule lands with other obligations that I have. However, the other thing is TAC. Of course, there's TAC events coming up this summer. I don't know if we're going to have a booth at any of them, but I do know that I will most likely be attending at least one of the TAC events. I really want to get to that Michigan one, so I'm hoping I can cruise over there this year, check that one out for the weekend, and get some time spent at TAC. And that's I guess that's pretty much it. That's about all I've got for upcoming events. So guys, check this out. One thing I wanted to do that I kind of failed to do last week, and I noticed it when I was editing the episode, and it was kind of too late. I didn't really have any chance to update it. But one thing I did not talk about on my bow setup is, of course, again, I'm going to be running the dialed proof sight again for this year. I'm super excited about that. I'm going to be getting myself the new 3VA scope housing, which has fully adjustable pins. I'm going to get the 3-pin so I can get those pins dialed into the specific yardages that I want, as opposed to just wherever they kind of land based on the arrow setup and everything that I'm running. So super excited about that. Just wanted to give a shout out to the boys, Taylor, Scott Bakken, Jordan Riley, those guys over at Dialed Archery. Appreciate those guys for getting me set up with the dialed proof sight. As far as Vapor Trail related things going on right now, as you know, we've launched a couple of videos. We've got a float instructional video on YouTube right now. We also have a instructional video on the Victor, which is something that should have come out. We filmed that like 6 months ago, and I finally just got it cut and we got it uploaded. So if anybody has any questions on the proper installation of the Victor arrow rest, head on over there, check that out. Once again, if you have any questions, please, I beg you, comment down below. I want to start getting some more interaction on here. I want to start getting some more engagement. It doesn't take that long, and it helps out a ton. Give us a like, subscribe, hit that bell so you can be up to date on all things archery. It helps us grow the page. It only takes a second, and I just don't think people realize that sometimes it just takes a simple like, or even just a comment, even better, or a share. A share is even way better. So, but yeah, the float, there's been some people kind of wondering what's going on. People have been ordering them. They haven't gotten them yet. And I feel like we were pretty clear about this at the show, and I've talked about it on the podcast here, but we're only taking pre-orders right now. Parts are currently being manufactured, but the plan is to start shipping those out in the spring, hopefully sooner, but I don't want to get anybody too excited about it and then they don't get it in time. So we're talking spring, and then when you get it, we're excited. We're as excited as you guys are to get these in your hands. We want people to start being able to use them. It's a great piece of technology, and we're really excited about how it's going to change the way that limb drivers function. The other thing is QDXs. We do have those in stock. That's the quick disconnect from Stokerized. They're built, ready to go. If you order one, boom, it's going to go out pretty quick. Right now, our production manager is out, so there is a slight delay in getting things out, just because there's some of us that are, in here trying to build arrow rests and put these things together. But we're making sure that we take our time and making sure that we do it right. So there's a slight delay in some of that stuff, but aside from that, everything is good. If you ordered a float, expect to have it by spring, possibly sooner, but we'll kind of see how that goes. Everything seems to be running smoothly as far as production, and I'll continue to keep you updated on that. And that, I think, is pretty much everything I've got here on my list. Just keep getting out there, shooting your bow, shoot as much as you can. Get excited about archery. Promote archery. Try to get more people to shoot. I owe so much to the archery community. I owe so much to shooting a bow. It is my therapy. It is what keeps me sane. And I absolutely just love this space. I love talking about bows. I love talking about all of it. So if you have any questions, please, again, comment, shoot me an email, rick@vaportrailarchery.com. Yeah, I hope to hear from you. And with that, we're going to pack up our bows and arrows, and we're going to hit the range. Have a great day, everybody. Vapor Trail is now offering an exclusive discount to the Range Podcast listeners. Enter promo code TRP15, that's TRP15, at checkout for 15% off VTX bowstrings and Vapor Trail and Stokerized branded t-shirts, hats, and other gear.